All right, so let's talk about your binge urge voice or your lower brain. I wanted to kind of touch on this a little bit. I've been recommending a lot of my coaching clients check out the Brain Over Binge Recovery Guide that came out, I think it was 2016. It's not the original book, not the original Brain Over Binge, but the Recovery Guide. Super helpful. I would encourage anyone who deals with compulsive overeating, binge eating, any kind of eating disorder to definitely check out that book. But one of the things I know that was super hard for me to wrap my brain around when the first book came out, and this is why I like the Recovery Guide, because I think it did a much clearer job depicting how this process kind of works, was really understanding the difference between my lower brain and my higher brain. Like truly getting how those two coexist and not being confused as to which one was really me. That was super hard because they both sound like me. They both have my voice. They both seemingly are telling me things that, I've heard for a long time. So I truly do believe it's me. But what I have found is the differentiating factor, and what I tell a lot of my coaching clients to do is, and I'll just kind of give you a super high level. I still would encourage you to read the book. There's two parts of your brain. There is your lower brain, which kind of sits at the back of your head, right on top of your spinal cord. It's like it's like right there. It's like a little ball. And then you've got your prefrontal cortex, which is up in your forehead area, basically. And one is super archaic, and it just repeats the same messages over and over and over again. It only understands instantaneous pleasure, not long-term consequences. Your prefrontal cortex is your goal brain, your thinking brain. It's the one that understands that what you're doing really is not helping you, right? Like when you binge, when you have an overeating or compulsive eating thing going on, you like logically can step back and say, wow, that didn't help me. It didn't help me with the stress and anxiety I was feeling. It didn't help me with the problems I had. It didn't help me at all, right? So it actually kind of harmed me after the fact. But in the moment, it felt super good. So there's these two parts of your brain. What I have come to assess is that the lower brain can only communicate in your head. It's going to send you these messages, and I'm sure you've heard them before. Today was a rough day. You deserve to have that piece of chocolate. We'll start again tomorrow. If you eat that blueberry muffin, you get extra Starbucks points. Go ahead and have it. It's the voice that says, you deserve to have some kind of pleasure in your day. Go ahead and have this. Oh my gosh, my dear, you are so overworked, overtired. Go ahead and have that extra cookie. You deserve it, or you should have it, or you know what, this one time won't matter because you got so far to go. It's always kind of encouraging you from what sounds like a kind place, right? And in a way it is. It's actually concerned about you. It feels that you are having anxiety, stress, overwhelm, overwork, whatever. And it wants to relieve you of that. So what happens in the lower brain is there's a hardwired, stimulus response. So when you feel anxiety, you in the past have gone to food to feel better. So now every time your brain has that situation happen, the lower brain kicks in and says, let's eat chocolate, let's eat candy, let's have ice cream, let's have these things. Because in the past it brought you momentary relief. But your higher brain gets that instantaneous pleasure has a long-term ramification. That's how you know it's your thinking brain. So what I'm going to do in this video is just kind of help you pull the two apart a little bit. Because again, they probably both sound like you. I actually had a client talk to me about the fact she's like, I have a hard time hearing which one. I say, here's how you know. You speak it out loud. What I think I hear you saying, brain, is if I eat this chocolate because I'm stressed about a project at work, it's going to help me. How's it going to help me with the project at work? Straight up ask the question. You've now engaged your prefrontal cortex. You've now engaged it. As long as that thought can whirl around in your head with no one calling it out, it probably wins out. If you bring it to verbalization, like what we're doing right now, I'm talking to you, right? I have to use my prefrontal cortex in order to do that. It involves the prefrontal cortex into the discussion. As long as you don't talk, you don't have the activation of the prefrontal cortex. So I have learned that speaking it out loud, and this is what I did in my own journey, by the way. I actually spoke all of this out loud. I would say in the kitchen, so brain, what you're telling me is, if I eat this tray of brownies, then my kids will be less stressful. I will have quiet and peace. No, none of that's true. Like my prefrontal cortex could immediately assess, no, your children will still be here. They'll still be pitching a tantrum and the brownies will be gone. So then I'd ask the next really good question. What would actually help me in this moment? Would it be maybe contacting my boss and asking for an extension on the project? Would it maybe be putting my kids in separate rooms and taking a time out? Would it maybe be putting a video on because I just need a few minutes to decompress and my kids will be entertained by a video? Like I can actually come up with some really good things. And just as an FYI, if you can't think of anything in the moment, write this down. 3 deep yoga breaths. If you did 3 deep yoga breaths, you immediately start to calm your physical body down, which will actually help you with your lower brain. So calling it out verbally is number 1. Number 2, the way that you know it's not you and it's your lower brain is ask this one question. Are there any long-term negative consequences to what my brain is asking me to do? So if it tells you to eat the tray of brownies, you and I both logically know that if your goal is to get healthy, to lose weight, to change your habits, eating a tray of brownies long-term is not helpful for you. So you can immediately write that thought down as your lower brain. Your lower brain only knows pleasure within the next few minutes. It's just trying to relieve you of instantaneous discomfort. It doesn't care what happens in the next week, the next year. It doesn't care. It doesn't see that far into the future. Your higher brain does. So this is how you can start to pull apart. 1, verbalize. Ask 2 important questions. How is what you're telling me to do going to help me with the direct situation I'm in? What would be better for me to do that would actually help me in this situation? The next thing, is the thing my brain is telling me to do long-term helpful? If the answer is no, and it's more destructive than helpful, that is your lower brain. This way you can start to separate them out. The more you can see them as 2 distinctly different things and understand you're just in a habit that you can actually break, the sooner you will be free. All right, my dears, you have a great day. I hope this video is helpful. Please like and subscribe, share the videos with people you think would be helped by them, and I will talk to you soon.